This week, the topic is bewitching bobbles. How can we use them while knitting to hold magical intent? In this week's episode, Jim is not here. However, I have a special guest, and that is my friend and fellow fiber artist and the owner of Skein Shop, Sasha Ogden.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Light from Lantern presents Knit a Spell. I'm magical maker, Katie Rempe.
And I'm the maker of magic, James Devine.
Join us as we stitch together the symbiotic relationship between crafting
And the craft.
I'm so excited to have another magical knitter to reflect on some of these ideas with, because Jim does a wonderful job at putting magical intent to things, but you are both a magical practice person and a fiber artist. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, fiber arts, like string is life, right?
Yes.
I started knitting and crocheting when I was 5, 6 years old and never stopped. Somewhere along the way, I started designing patterns, decided to open an online store, skeinshop.com.
Woo.
And I love knitting more than probably anything else in the world. And it is so magical. It's so magical. Like the amount of time that you spend putting yourself into a project is really a powerful thing, the way that it can hold your emotions and your memories. And it's, of course, it's the perfect vessel for magic.
How did the magical element enter your life?
So I have always been fascinated by divination. So I started with I Ching and card reading when I would think I was in middle school the first time I picked up some books and started trying to teach myself. And just like the more time I spent exploring that side of myself and the subconscious and how powerful your intentions can be, the more I was like, this is really interesting. And it's so easy to work it into your everyday life. Elaborate rituals are fun, right? But it doesn't need to be elaborate every time. It can be really simple and it makes a big difference.
Yes, simple is powerful. Think of knitting like most of the stuff is just stockinette stitch and like slightly different versions of that. So you can knit and purl, similar with magic.
Exactly. Knitting, you're just doing the same stitches over and over again. They add up to something way bigger than you might initially think. And I think it's the same way with magic. If you just do little things to bring more intention and awareness, more magic into your life, it adds up fast and it is really transformative.
Yeah, I've learned over time, because you're totally right. I am a Virgo. I'm very detail oriented. I want things to be perfect. I fight this, but it still tries to overcome me. And so I can get very easily overwhelmed to be like, I want it to be a whole thing. And then I remember, oh, okay, maybe instead I just like brush my teeth. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm brushing away bad things I might say. Clean mouth, clean communication, right? So I'm not adding a new thing to do. I'm just doing it in a different way, which is exactly what we're talking about today in terms of bobbles. Yay.
Awesome.
How do you like that for a transition?
Segue.
Yeah. So what the heck are bobbles for people who don't know?
Bobbles are like little warts on your knitting, but cute. We love them.
I always call them skin tags, but I like warts too. That's very witchy. Yeah, it's a three-dimensional raised bump that is a knitting stitch. And usually it's multiples that are used to create like a design from within a design. And so there are many ways that it could potentially be used magically. And also there are so many types of bobbles, or like ways to do bobbles, that the way you're doing it can also change the way it's corresponded magically.
Yeah, and there's lots of opportunities to work in magical numbers because bobbles, when you're starting with one stitch, and then usually you're increasing to 3, 5, 7, work your correspondences.
I love numerology. I try not to do, oh, the pattern's $77 or whatever. Although I do have a workshop that is ironically $99, but that was not necessarily intended that way. Although maybe it was, I don't know. But usually it's like repeats of this certain amount, or you're casting on like a multiple of 3, which is one of my favorite personal number correspondences to work with. So some people don't even know that they're having like magical underlying intention in their designs while they're knitting it. What kind of magical tools are similar to bobbles, not necessarily fabric or whatnot, but do you have any thoughts on that?
So when you asked me this question, the first thing I thought of was that for me, textiles are such a tactile thing. Like I always want to be touching them, whether it's a work in progress or something that I'm wearing. I'm a very fidgety person. And baubles are one of those things that you want to touch them. You catch your fingers on them. They're asking to be fiddled with. And so it immediately made me think of worry stones or little crystals that you might carry around in your pocket and you just rub them and think about them as you're going about your
Yeah.
day.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah. I just wrapped up co-hosting a magical summit with a magical practitioner friend of mine, Wendy Mata, which you also know, Sasha. It's a small world
Yeah.
out there. And one of the talks was a lot about eggs and using eggs to cleanse and remove. And I was like, oh, that's like a bobble. Like you have a pack of eggs in your fridge and they're all just like poking out there, ready to be plucked out and plucked out and used. I see there's a comment here about smoke. Could you on
There
that?
is. Yes, I like to work with smoke. I like to use smoke for cleansing. Sometimes, because I'm a divination nerd, a little bit of smoke scrying. It's fun to light some incense and see, do you see shapes? And so you're looking for like, where is the smoke coming together? Where is it thicker? Or if you're cleansing, I'll be like, oh, this closet. Let's get some more smoke in
Mm.
there. And so baubles, I think, are the same way. They're where all of this yarn is packed into a small space instead of being spread out. The way that smoke can be wispy or intense, I think baubles inhabit some of that same energy for me.
So bobbles is actually something that I realized I have on several of my patterns. And so I thought we could discuss them a little bit and I can tell you what my intention was when I put them in there.
I'd love that. I always love hearing more about what designers were thinking when they made the pattern, because I know what my reactions are, but it's cool to hear a little bit more, like a peek behind the curtain.
And I don't always talk about the magical parts of it because I don't want to overwhelm people who are just looking at the pattern and aren't necessarily like, oh, and I need to know how to make it magical every step of the way, because that can also be very overwhelming accidentally. And so I was thinking about starting to do more of a series where I might expand on this is the pattern, and here were the intentions you could do magically if you want or not. You could change it, of course, but just to inspire people. I'm glad we're going to start that here. So if you like it, let us know and I'll get
I'm
that
into
series
it.
going.
So
That's
put
one.
one in the
Good.
4 column.
I'm going to start with my sun shawl because it is the same design pretty much as my moon shawl, but this one is much larger and in worsted weight, where the moon shawl is in fingering weight. But here we can see the bubbles. Ooh, bobbles in worsted
Oh,
weight are
just makes the
like
most delicious texture.
so good. It's like looking at a map. And this is the mountain range.
Yeah, like those really cool ones that are like cardboard and you can feel all the
Oh, yeah.
topography.
Yes, I'm into that. Again, textural, right?
Yeah.
In the large version, my intention here was big bobbles, big manifestation energy. So this is the sun shawl and thus encompassing a lot of strong solar energy, very Leo vibes,
Bring
big.
on the joy. We are here for it.
That's right. I'm warming you up like the sun. It's snuggly. And so all of those little bobbles are like little mini suns in there.
Or like you go for a walk and there's the sunny patch and the shady patch. You get in the sunny patch, you're like, oh, it's so nice. It's so warm.
Yes. Or it's so hot. And then you get under that shade and it's just, oh, thank goodness. The moon shawl, which is actually out at a shop over in Auburn right now. So I don't have it in person, cry, but I'll put a picture here so that everyone can follow along. Similar, where you said like the shade aspect versus the sun. So this is the shade where it's a little more subtle, smaller bobbles. And so maybe these wishes are intended to be more like secret, maybe not something you would maybe tell other people, but by having it around you, you're reminded of it. And so it's still working.
Yeah, tucked away, hidden in the center of that bobble. It's protected by all the yarn.
That's right. The precious. Similar to the sun shawl, I was like, you know what? This would make a really cute t-shirt.
I love that design so much.
Worsted weight, so it's so quick. And if you make it in wool, it's nice for any season because wool is a magical fiber made for wicking. And in this case, The only bobbles are right here at the hem.
Oh, see, and if I knit that, I would never stop fiddling with it. Like the bobbles would be a different color because I would just be.
That's why I didn't put them anywhere else. I figured one row down there, that's okay. Anywhere else could be problematic, but you don't also. This is a good reminder that where you put bobbles, which, as we said, is something that attracts people wanting to touch it, be mindful. In this case, because it goes right around the solar plex area, I thought, oh, this is an area where a lot of people have insecurity. And so why not pack it with an extra punch, extra self-esteem?
A big nerd for like traditional costumes, not
Mm,
meaning like that it's funny, but just traditional
right.
dress.
It seems
However,
like costume now, but that's how
right,
they dressed.
that have different kinds of warming belts or bands that you wear around that area because you need to keep your vital organs warm and protected. And so having that extra layer is just really nice and practical. And so here's a way to do it for our more climate controlled world with the
Yeah,
bobbles.
yeah, that is an excellent point. And then my last example here is my moon cowl. So I did a sun tee and then a moon cowl because apparently I'm obsessed with this colorwork design, which is just slip stitches and so many bobbles. So in this case, we have a whole patch of gray bobbles and then a whole patch of red bobbles, which may be a little bit harder to see. But this cowl is all about balance. Maybe you're making it to be like, oh, I want a good balance of clear vision and awesome communication. And you pick two colors to do both of those. And while you're knitting it, each bobble is combining both of those together for every time you wear it, you're going to have amazing luck in both of those.
And Katie, I don't imagine that you would have anything that would help people pick colors and correspondences for their knitting.
What? No, I definitely do not have an entire workshop on how to knit with color magic. We did not rehearse that.
No, I just love hyping my friends up.
If you are interested in how to use color magically, I talk all about it in my workshop, which I'll link below. And I even have a little coupon that I'm running this whole season. So if you're interested, find all the details in the description. Thanks, Sasha. And I might know a place where you can get some yarn. Spoiler alert. We'll make sure to tell you all about that when we return from our break. We'll be right back. Hey there, fellow knitters. Are you ready to enchant your stitches with the power of color? Discover how in my online workshop, Knit with Color Magic. In Knit with Color Magic, you'll learn how to use color as an intention-setting tool. This self-paced workshop will teach you everything you need to know to get out of your color ruts and conjure bewitching combinations while adding intention. You'll also learn how to build a strong and simple intention, how to translate intention into colors, and to develop a personal grimoire of color correspondences. With a simple shift in your mindset and some personal reflection, you can start knitting color magic into any project. And for a limited time, listeners of the show can save $20 off this workshop by using the code COLOR20 at checkout. Find all the information in the description or visit lightfromlantern.com/knit with color magic to learn more. Merry make! Hey Knit-a-Spell fans, we are back on Patreon with a new dedicated page. For just $5 a month, you'll gain access to behind-the-scenes posts, exclusive downloads and resources, and you'll be able to participate in influential polls with fellow fans. You'll also receive a free, exclusive Knit-a-Spell sticker sent right to your door after being a subscriber for 3 consecutive months. It's a great way to support the podcast, and Jim and I are so appreciative to everyone who's joined so far. To learn more and sign up, visit patreon.com/knit-a-spell. See you there.
Your hands are the map to achieving anything you want in life. But it's hard to read that map in just one reading. My coaching packages allow me to work with you over time to build towards your goals. We bring in life coaching, executive coaching, leadership coaching, tarot, palmistry, astrology all together. And these amazing coaching pathways that my clients are on really help propel people towards their goals.
Learn more about Jim's new coaching packages by sending him an email at jim@thedivinehand.com to schedule a free discovery call, or visit thedivinehand.com to learn more.
Welcome back, everybody. Because bobbles can be made in a variety of ways, we're going to talk about several methods of how to make them and assign some magical correspondences of how we might use them, because you might use them differently, in which case you should definitely comment so that we can know what we're missing out. We don't want to miss out. Inspire us.
No wrong answers, just collaboration.
Exactly. Unless it is the wrong answer, we'll cross that when we get there. So the first bobble is the leaning 4-stitch bobble. And making this one looks like a teardrop when it's finished.
That's so cool. I will be honest, I have only done a couple different kinds of bobbles, and all of them have been pretty centrally puffy. So I'm really into this idea of being able to make them lean one way or the other, control the shape a little bit more. It would give you a lot of opportunities to put some directionality into your intentions.
Ooh, yeah. If it's going to the left, maybe you're working on more things that are like internal and like self-work, shadow work, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Or if it's going to the right, it's more outward, more leadership, more showing up out there. Ooh, yeah.
exactly.
It's a good idea. All right. So for directionality, you'll want to go for the leaning 4-stitch bobble. And also, if you have any numerological associations with the number 4, this would also be a really great way to use it. So like maybe you're using multiples of 4 bobbles in your multiple of 4-stitch bobbles. That could also be another way to strengthen it, especially since number 4 is all about like foundation.
Stability
Yep,
and
exactly. It's a good place to do it. And also the teardrop aspect, I was thinking like this could be an interesting way to to work with the grief process, because maybe each bobble is a memory, and sometimes even the best memories draw tears. I think tears are great. Tears of joy, tears of grief, whatever they are, get them out. This could be a really good way to just process emotionally, and maybe just one at a time. You don't have to do it all at once.
yeah, I that's such a good point that I know when I'm in periods of grief, I really turn to fiber arts to help soothe me and comfort me. And the things that I make while I'm grieving are so emotionally powerful. Sometimes to the point that I don't even really want them out or to use them, because just seeing them and being around them is bringing back so much of that. But it's nice to be able to put all of that into what you're making as a way of processing it.
Yeah, it's a slow
Yeah,
process. So why not make use of it?
totally.
Yeah. And actually, that's a good point too, where if it's something that you're grieving through and then maybe seeing it isn't something you want, you absolutely could cleanse it, give it a nice block, wish it on its way, donate it, gift it to a friend. Like they don't have to know the background of it. You've cleansed it out, you've recharged it for them to do their own thing. It can now be enjoyed for what it is out in the world as a creation.
There used to be a local yarn store near me that would do a sale a couple times a year where they would sell off some of their shop samples that they didn't need anymore, and they would
Hmm.
let people also bring in things that they had made, because anybody who's shopping that sale knows the time and energy that goes into making something. So maybe a shop near you does something like that. Maybe if they don't, they would love to hear about it.
There you go. Maybe you need to lean to the right and be the leader in putting that together for people. Yeah. Or it's just could be like a swap too, right? So if people don't have the funds, but they appreciate the work,
Yeah.
sometimes that's just as good. All right. So the next one we're going to talk about is the centered 5-stitch bobble, which features yarn over increases to increase the number of stitches, and then they are centrally decreased so that the shape of it is round and even.
And Katie, I find when I'm doing bobbles of this sort, whether it's exactly this one or not, they really benefit from a good poke. Poke from the back as you're, it's like just as you're doing like the last little bit before you're ready to move on from the bobble, give it a poke.
Yes, it does need to be encouraged to work to the front, because you're 100% right. There is no bobble method that I know of or have had success with that is like a guarantee that they're always going to be on the front, no matter how much you like pull on the back or on the next row or whatever.
And don't think that you're going to be able to fix it later. If it looks bad as you're ready to knit away from it, it's going to continue to look bad. Just rip back, do it again.
If you don't have a coin to flip to see if you're going to regret it later, because you will, and that will just help you realize that sooner, just learn from us. And if you're a person who's like, I really just don't care, then I really envy you and I would like to know who you are.
Teach me your ways.
Yes. A poke is really good. And maybe it's because it has all that energy. They're just little short rows anyway. They're just like, I'm ready to go.
If we're doing kind of magical associations, think of that as the activation. You put it all together and now you need to activate your bobble.
Push the button. Yes.
Poke it into being.
Bubble wrap, right?
Oh.
You still get the satisfying poke.
It is so satisfying when all of a sudden you're like, there it is.
And if it's a centered 5-stitch bobble, much like the 4-stitch bobble, if you have correlations with 5, and certainly there are many, pentacle, earth, air, fire, water, spirit, all sorts of magical correspondences with the number 5.
The 5s for me, particularly, so a lot of my numerology is mixed in with tarot. So
yes, that's good.
Bearing that in mind, the 5s are often like a little bit of a struggle, but they're so often a productive. The struggle is leading somewhere. You're talking about grounding and finding balance. And that's not an easy thing to do, right? Like you have to sometimes struggle and work at that.
Good point. 5, challenge. Something is going to challenge you to make you better. And if you overcome it, you're going to be amazing. Yes. 5s are challenge and 7s are choices. And those are things that people hate.
But they're good for us, right?
It's so good. Yes.
Like broccoli.
Exactly. And with the right mindset, anything sucks less. So the next one is the quick increase bobble. And this is the one I always go to because it's the quick one. And that is a 3-6-1 stitch because you start with 1 stitch and then it makes 3 and then it makes 6 and then you go all the way back down to 1. So many numbers in that one. 3 creation, 6 harmony, 1 leadership and newness. So much to charge
And
her.
it's got almost like a pyramid feeling to it, not just in the numbers, but also in the structure of it. So that's a lot of building, growth, stability.
And because it's quick, I thought, oh, this is the one that you want for spells that you want to happen fast or something that you need to get done and have it be going right away. It's quick to do. It'll be quick acting. It's the 3-step process. You do it, you put it out there, it gets done.
There's no question mark profit here. There's
right. Yeah. Step 2 is very defined. So, and then there is the no turn bobble, which I've never done, but I did watch a video.
This is the only way that I will agree to do bobbles.
Oh, all right. Tell me.
I find it really tedious having to turn and turn and turn to make a bobble. And so I'm trying to remember if this was actually the reason that I taught myself to knit backwards or if that was entrelac. One of the two. I know,
good excuse
right?
Either way.
But yeah, it's really not that difficult to learn how to knit backwards. It saves you so much time and it's applicable to other things, not just entrelac. It's good for if you're doing button bands that are like a real short back and forth. I also, as somebody who sometimes teaches knitting, found it really useful to be able to demonstrate in different ways for left-handed people, right-handed people. I cannot recommend this highly enough.
I love that. Wow. Okay. It's like a bobble for people who are sure because they don't want to look back. They're just going forward.
And if it's a low stakes way to practice knitting backwards, right? It doesn't have the complexity of entrelac. You're not committing to doing a whole big piece. You're just like, let me just do these 3 or 5 stitches that might be a little uncomfortable. And we'll do 3 or 5 more
in a little
later.
Bit. Yeah.
It's okay.
That's a good point. And if they look a little weird, it doesn't matter because it's a bobble and they're weird anyway. Yeah. And then you brought up the very good topic of noopes. Could you explain what the difference between a bobble and a noop is?
I would be delighted. So for anybody who doesn't know about noopes to begin with, they are specific to Estonian lace knitting. And they look like a bobble. I think from a magical intentions perspective, we can associate all of the same things that we might associate with baubles with noops. But structurally, they're a little different. And visually, I also find them to be a little different. Noops tend to be equally visible on both sides of the fabric, which baubles are not. And because they're specific to lace knitting, they create another layer of visual texture. So lace is all about negative space, right? Like you have the solid piece of knitting with the holes in it. The holes of the lace are what's forming the pattern. Noops create a solid looking spot in the kind of diaphanous knitting. Noops are different than baubles in that they are not completed all in one fell swoop. So baubles, when you get to the spot that you're going to make the bauble, you do your increases, you do your decreases, you do the poking, and you're
You
like,
make the
ta-da,
whole bobble. Yep.
bobble done. Noops, you are increasing on one row, and then you're working all of those loops back together into one stitch on the next row.
Interesting.
Yes.
For a noop, then, it's reversible, right? It's flexible in a way, or it would
Totally.
work no matter what, some could say. And then because it's involved with lace and you have to do it over more than one row, it's not all just like in one shot. This would be good for like a long acting spell, something that you want to last for a long time because it takes you time to make it and thus it will last for a long time or be like a slow release tablet.
Yes.
I'm not super familiar with the Estonian background, but if you were someone who came from that area, that would be another thing to really get in touch with is what are the spirits or the deities or what kind of energy was around that time that maybe would be also willing to work with you as someone who's a descendant from that area. If you work with noops in a magical way, we would love to hear how that is.
Yeah, I'd be fascinated.
Bobbles as code. What do you mean by that, Sasha?
So I love secrets and secret codes. Magic is all about hidden messages in a way, right? Like you were talking about brushing your teeth and thinking about like clean mouth, scrubbing things away. That's the hidden message of that moment with your toothbrush. So you could, as you're knitting, arrange your bobbles in a way that is meaningful to you, that you can form them into a shape that carries meaning for you. I would like to give a small shout out to some friends who are on a tarot Discord because I asked them for some input and they came back with geomancy figures, which if you don't know about geomancy, it's so cool. But in geomancy, there are 16 figures and they're all made up of a series of dots. And so this is like the perfect candidate to represent in bobbles because bobbles are dots. And so you could look at what these different geomancy figures represent, choose one that's the intention that you want for that piece and knit your bobbles in. Also, Morse code, anybody?
Oh, Braille? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yes.
Duh. See, this is why it's so fun to do these because even if we have ideas ahead of time, as we talk, all sorts of cool stuff comes out of it. Oh, ooh, a Braille cowl? That would be so much
That
fun.
would be so cool. Really playing into the tactile nature.
All right, just add it to the list. I didn't even think about, of course, like how the baubles are positioned. Also, of course, like they could be made into a heart or any sort of like literal symbol. They could also symbolize other things that kind of look like baubles. This could be like a constellation of stars or seeds.
Oh.
Maybe you're planting seeds of something.
The idea of knitting constellations, and I'm so fascinated with space and stars and the sky. So
oh, yes, me too. And they could be all sorts of different sizes. You don't just have to do what they
pick
do.
different kinds of bobbles to represent the different intensities.
I also thought, oh, these could be eyeballs. Like each one is an eye, like the evil eye, or just like you having extra eyes out there, or even like just how we said before, they could be like grounding pebbles, or they could represent crystals that maybe you don't have on hand, but visually, that's what they are energetically.
It's all about intention.
Any ideas of what you might make baubles symbolize or what they could symbolize?
I like the idea of seeds, and I particularly have been playing in my mind with the idea of randomness and gamifying my knitting. I know Lee Meredith did several kind of game knitting books when she was doing a lot of designing. That's something that I've played with in the past, rolling a die and going, I'm going to put 4 beads in this next block or whatever, because I rolled a 4. And so I would love to do something with bobbles and dice or something to introduce some kind of randomness, because I think it adds some excitement to the making process. And it also is just so visually interesting when you're done. I could totally see doing, so randomly generate your bobbles, however you're going to do, knit the whole thing, and then go back through and spot figures, whether it's, constellations or, just however you see things. There's so much magical energy behind what do you perceive in this field of input.
The bobble. Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe we should make this. This is something we want to co-design and bring to
Oh my
life.
gosh, I would love that.
All we need is a good excuse to hold each other accountable to actually make it happen, and then it will. Stay tuned, guys. Maybe we'll make this happen. So, Sasha, for folks who are in need of yarn, but they're not around a yarn store, or they're just like, doesn't have what I want. Could you tell us more about what your store offers?
I would love to tell you about my store. So I run skeinshop.com. And our kind of internal motto is we want to be your first, second choice.
Woohoo! First and second choices.
Because honestly, even as much as I would love to have you guys order yarn from me, what I really want is for you to support your local brick and mortar yarn store. They are the ones keeping community going, making new knitters, and just being fabulous presences in the community. However, when you can't find it there, maybe you think of Skein Shop first. I carry lots of yarn. I carry lots of needles. We ship super fast. And there will be a coupon code in the description. You can get a little discount just for being a Knit a Spell listener.
Sasha, so nice of you. I'll make sure to put all the info in the description so you guys can take advantage of that. It is a lovely website to get lost in, and so nice to know that it's run by someone who really loves the craft. So that is something I always appreciate. So
thanks.
Thank you so much for being on here. Jim will really be sad that he missed this, but yeah, I hope that maybe in the future you will come back on again.
I would love that. This has been so fun. Thank you for having me.
Yay. And stay tuned, everybody, because maybe that bobble divination something, it's coming. And when that does, we'll be back to talk to you about it. Don't miss next week because we have another special guest. It will be Sarah Shira, who is the designer of Imagined Landscapes. Now, I don't know if you know Sarah, Sasha, but she is the one who designs and knits gnomes.
All of those amazing gnomes, they all have such unique personalities. I'm really jealous I'm not going to be there to get to talk to her.
You will definitely want to tune into that episode and watch it because she shows off a lot of her cutie little creations, and I hope you will join us. Sasha, thank you again for coming on and sharing all of your knowledge.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you.
We'll make sure to put all the coupon information for Skein Shop in the description. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for
listening.
If you enjoyed the show, consider sharing it with a friend, leaving a review on iTunes and Spotify, or following Knit a Spell on Instagram.
You can also subscribe to the Light from Lantern YouTube channel to enjoy full episodes of Knit a Spell and see our happy faces.
You can also learn more about readings, classes, and events going on with your favorite maker of magic, James Devine, by visiting thedivinehand.com and subscribing to his newsletter. Then follow Jim's fun and interactive Instagram account at DivineHandJim.
Keep up with Katie, the magical maker, by subscribing to her newsletter at lightfromlantern.com. You'll receive a free knitting pattern as a thank you gift. Then follow Katie on Instagram at lightfromlantern for even more magical making tips. See you next week.